I'm Rahul Day, and today I will be speaking to you about engaging students in class. I am a professor at IIM Bangalore, and I've been teaching for close to 30 years. I initially taught in the US and then for the last 20 years in IIMB. I've also taught in other countries and faced students of all types, undergraduate students, MBA students, doctoral students. And I teach mainly technical courses, things like information technology, information systems, artificial intelligence, and so on. Now, the kind of students I teach is important, and those are the issues I will discuss with you today. In our IIMB PGP program, which is the main MBA program, we have students who are very sharp, very competitive, very bright, and they are also very easily bored. And some of them actually know a lot about the subject already, even before they have come to class. I also teach other students who are a little bit more mature. They are also very bright and competitive, but they tend to be a little bit more engaged. So today what I will say to you will apply to all students, I think, all types of students across various types of programs and various types of institutions. So the topics I teach to students are generally very dry and boring, even though subjects like AI or blockchain or cloud or information technology, they sound very interesting. These are the cutting edge issues of today. But when you go into the details, people just glaze out. The way to tackle it, I feel, is to try these 4 things I am suggesting. These are things I have figured out over the years. Some of them have theoretical backing. Others are some things that have just worked for me. The first one is applications and using real world examples. The other is humor. The third is controversy and debate. And the fourth is quizzing, in-class quizzing. I'll go through all of these with you. So what are the applications of concepts? In a very interesting book called Grasp, The Science Transforming How We Learn, MIT professor Sanjay Sharma says that it is not enough for students to know calculus. They have to learn to think with it. What that basically means is it's not enough for us to teach the concepts and the frameworks that we do in a business school. You have to have students learning to think with it, which is basically applying it in situations. Now that's precisely what we do when we are teaching cases. The case method is actually applying concepts and frameworks. But what happens is in technology type courses, very technical courses, we'll end up doing concepts more than applications. So this balance has to be carefully brought about, that you not only do the concepts or not just do the applications, but you think of both, and that's how students begin to engage with the material. They begin to think with it. Now, the other part is humor. Now, humor is important to again wake up students, bring them into focus in class, and the way to do it, the way I do it, is take digs at famous brands. So I don't spare any of these famous brands like Microsoft, Apple, Google, Facebook, you name it, I will take a dig at them. They are a good, nice target. One has to be a little careful that we balance it out and don't cross bounds. So even though I criticize Microsoft products a lot, I am a big fan of open source, which is almost a counter to Microsoft. I do also emphasize how Microsoft has done a brilliant job of marketing, and that is where the learning happens. This form of humor again brings students into the class. I even pick on students who are wearing Apple watches and ask them about the product. What do they know? Does it use AI? Does it use blockchain? And why are they wearing Apple? Why are they such fans? And students' answers are quite revealing, and they begin to then dig more into the class about the concepts. And of course, you can use some opportunities that present themselves. As if a student is nodding off in class, you can ask them, as I sometimes do, if they have been using a Microsoft product, which obviously has that effect on them. The third one is controversy and debate. Controversy is, luckily for me, a very big thing in information technology. Despite IT having all these great things, efficiency, cost reduction, reaching out to markets, it turns out that the controversies like privacy, surveillance, monitoring, job loss, skill loss, loss of profits, digital divide, all these things kick in. Especially recently, because of the COVID-19 situation, people have been working from home or taking classes from home, and these are very prominent issues. What this does is it brings students out. They open up, they speak. The quieter ones will also chip in and say, yes, I am having trouble. And then you can engage them. You can say, okay, why is it that you're having trouble with the internet? Why isn't it prevalent? After all, we are such a big IT power in India. Why are these issues still cropping up? So that's controversy. Then you have debate. Debate is something I either encourage in class to happen spontaneously around issues like surveillance is an issue. Almost everybody I have discussed this with over the years disagrees with surveillance. They don't like surveillance, but they also come back and say that yes, it is needed in some cases. And these kind of topics lead themselves to a very natural debate which has larger issues that can be brought in. So this also leads to engagement. You can also have formal debates. I do that in class. I divide up groups and say that, okay, you have to take a particular position, which means they have to prepare for it. And that leads to their own participation in class quite a lot. The last thing I do, or last one of the methods that I try, and it usually works, is using in-class quizzing. These are online tools. I have mentioned one of them here, Kahoot.com. I've been using Kahoots for many years. These allow you to have quizzes which have multiple choices in them, and they are time bound, meaning you get 20 or 30 seconds to answer a question. Very importantly, they have gamification built in, which means students get points for them. Whoever is fastest and whoever is correct gets to get higher points. And at the end of the quiz, maybe 5-6 questions, there are always 3 or 5 winners, and their names get prominently displayed, there are balloons popping off. And strangely enough, even older students, they love this. They want to do this, and they're always ready to play this game in class. They even ask for this. What it lets me do is identify what are the challenges in class, what are the concepts people haven't understood. If everybody's getting some question wrong, I get time to explain that at the end of the quiz. So it is both for engagement and to understand what are the weak points. The important thing is the questions and responses have to be designed carefully. So these are some of the issues I have for you today. Student engagement is difficult, especially for subjects which naturally tend to be a bit dry, but it is possible and one can work through them. So the methods I'm suggesting are thinking of applications, using humor, using controversy and debate, and quizzing. Now all of them work in some measure. It depends on how you are able to work through them. So good luck with your efforts. Thank you for listening.